Cool. All right. So everyone watching on the channel, Braden, this is Braden. You can go ahead and introduce yourself in a minute here. But yeah, so I want to give a little bit of context around like who you are, what you do. You're obviously one of the students inside of the private coaching community that we have going on right now, with First Class Setter, dude. So yeah, introduce yourself, man, and then we'll go ahead and kind of get started.
Yeah, so my name's Braden. I got started with Sergio. I want to say that was back in March of this year, 2024. Yeah, went through two offers that were a little challenging. Learned a lot, but they were challenging. Then the third offer just recently started that in October, and yeah, it really took off. And yeah, a lot of things have changed since then.
Yeah.
And
Safe to say, definitely living a little bit different now. And we'll kind of
yes,
talk about the actual details and stuff in a minute. But dude, honestly, like you mentioned, you joined back in March. And honestly, dude, I've been wanting to do this like call, this interview, whatever you might call it, for a while. I think you've probably felt the same way.
yeah,
And truthfully, this is kind of how the journey goes sometimes, right? And we kind of had to meet in the middle at some point where it was a little bit of just, bump in the road, and I kind of needed to help you get back on the path. And honestly, dude, I couldn't have been more happy that you decided to like just grind through it, right?
yeah,
So yeah, dude, let's kind of start there, man. Well, we can actually start with like the beginning, right? So when we kind of first started chatting, obviously you kind of like found me from like a bit of a personal connection.
yep.
Yeah, what did that look like, dude?
Yeah, Jeremy, I reached out to Jeremy, kind of just asked him. I'd been through a whole bunch of, I've tried a lot of online kind of ways of making money. And I reached out to someone who I kind of look up to, and he recommended that I check out appointment setting. Kind of did my own thing, looked into it, and I kind of went, oh, this is going to be another one of those sending thousands of cold outreach for the next month, hoping for someone to just give me a chance. But then he let me know about your course and the placement, and that's kind of where I got in contact with you, and we went over it, and it made sense to do that route to fast track it because I've done the route before, like in copywriting, of sending, cold emails every day for hours when you get home, and it just never works out. So the
Yeah.
placement was a big thing
Yeah,
for
man.
me.
Let's kind of like touch on that then, because you mentioned you've tried like almost everything under the sun to try
Yeah.
and make some money online.
Yeah.
Dude, you're probably not the only one. Like I can almost guarantee you. Well, I'm personally speaking from my own experience as well. As like I tried the agency route. I never really got into copywriting like that, but it was just a bunch of other stuff. So for you, it was copywriting. What else was it? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah. So I originally started a few years back drop shipping. I had about three stores now. They all didn't work out. They all lost money. I got some sales, but they've all lost money.
Yeah.
Hours and hours put into websites and that kind of thing never worked out. Then I got into building websites for local companies, and that kind of worked, kind of didn't. Then I started trying to do like some SMMA, running Instagram accounts. I was doing that for like $100 a month. I was constantly on my phone, like I am now DMing, but I was for $100 a month, and it was like
Yeah.
this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff, and it's been a real struggle mindset wise, getting through all that, going through all of it, and just being like, maybe the next one will work, and you put all this time in, maybe the next one will work. But
Yeah.
I mean, so when appointment setting came up, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this my all, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah, man. And like I can't begin to tell you how common that storyline is, which for people that are kind of watching this video and like they've probably gone through and they've been just dragged through the mud and they're kind of going through it, right? They've tried this business model, the next one, this skill set, whatever it might be. But for whatever reason, it seems like most successful people and people that are just really making it happen in this space, they all have that common ground. Like they were all kind of taken through the mud and just didn't really stop. They just quite literally made the decision to like just never not commit to the process. And tell me about that, man, because like I was kind of thinking about this a little bit earlier today where for whatever reason, it seems like every student, every person that I've ever worked with, even outside of my network, outside my program, the one thing they always have in common is kind of feeling like they have that like fire inside of them, and nothing doesn't matter like what goes wrong, it's just not going to go out. And it's just going to keep burning until you actually get to where you want to be. Is that kind of how you feel?
Yeah, 100%. I kind of I set out, I want to say it was a year ago, and I just really got into this mindset. I had bought a course and I really got into this mindset of like, I don't care how long it takes. I'm gonna get there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I thought, I'm 21, just about to turn 22, and I thought if by 30 I, I'm financially free, I have location freedom, I have time freedom. By 30, if it takes me 9 years, so be it. Like as long as by 30, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
traveling the world, making 10K a month, doing whatever I want to do. So that's kind of the mindset I set for myself is like, I'm just gonna do whatever it takes and just see where it goes. And you know, it didn't take 9 years. It definitely didn't. It just
Yeah.
took that mindset of like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna stay on top of it. I'm gonna put the work in and I'm gonna figure it out. So
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, man. Because again, like I mentioned, just every single person has that like common characteristic. So it's no surprise that that kind of was the same thing that applied to you. And yeah, man, I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about like how not easy it's been, right? Because
yeah,
on top of the first couple of offers that we kind of like dove into and really were kind of like hit or miss. It was like, okay, this we can potentially be a beacon for like the business and the offer popping off or we can't. And that's completely fine, right? We kind of knew that going in there. But on top of all of that, you were, and you have to kind of keep me updated here on like if you still are, but balancing that with just a full-time job, a full-time gig of you like working on pretty extreme things. So you can kind of go into that, talk a little bit about like what your experience of doing that together has been like.
like you mean working full time and kind of doing this on the
Yeah,
side?
having other
Yeah,
obligations and like balancing the both basically.
yeah. So I work in helicopters, so it's pretty intense and it's 9 to 5 plus, I would say, because, there's weekends that I'm working as well. And it's basically 9 hour days every day, Monday to Friday. And then sometimes it's weeks on end working. Um, yeah, so it's been a struggle, but what I've done is just use the time in the mornings and then use the time in the after or once I get home from work in the evenings and just work my butt off. And honestly, to me, I get home and if I'm not appointment setting, it's just like, well, what am I going to do? Like, most people just sit and scroll on their couch. It's just like, well, why not type on my phone, make money? You know what I mean? Set myself up. I'm going to be on my phone anyway. I'm probably
Yeah.
going to be on Instagram. So might as well make some money alongside
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That is probably the biggest, like, just the biggest takeaway that I would want just a bunch of viewers who are watching this video to take away. Because it's like a lot of people think because they have this other, like, quote unquote, big commitment that they need to, like, have to sacrifice their dreams, goals, whatever that might be. But like you mentioned, man, like, with that being said, you having to come home and just kind of put in the extra time to actually make that work. What do you think? What would you say like the sacrifices have been for you in like your personal life to actually make that work?
Yeah, that's a big one. So I live with my girlfriend and I used to spend a lot of time with her after work, kind of in between my two roles, my second role that I had, and then my
Yeah.
third one, and in between the first one and the second one, actually, as well, spending a lot of time with her. So it's been a little bit challenging. We've had to kind of figure out how we're going to make it work. Cooking dinner every night, that takes so much time away. And I want as much time as I can into this because this is my dream, right?
Yeah.
So what we figured out is we cook a little bit in advance. You change a couple things around and you make it work. You get up a little bit earlier. Maybe, I'm gonna be honest, like I don't sleep 8 hours every night because maybe I'm working a little late, then I get up a little earlier. But at the end of the day, like I said, when fast forward a year from now, probably when I'm sitting on the beach getting paid 10K a month to type on my phone, it's all gonna be worth it. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit of sacrifice. It's temporary sacrifice for this, you know. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it just it makes sense to me, right?
yeah, no, you're 100% right, dude. And kind of brings me back to kind of like my situation. Mine's was a little bit different because like I just decided to go cold turkey and like quit my 9 to 5. I had savings and like mine was a huge risk, right?
Right.
You're probably not taking that much of a big risk, which is arguably like smarter, right, than the decision I made.
Yeah.
But me and who's my fiance now, but my girlfriend at the time had to do something similar, where if you have somebody that you're committed to as well, you have a partner that understands what it is that like you want for the sake of the both of you, then they're willing to make those changes and sacrifices. And you hit the nail on the head there when you said that these sacrifices are not going to happen forever, right? Like you're balancing the both, and you're getting up early. You're probably not getting as much sleep as you want, but it's not going to be the case forever because when the time comes, you're going to make a decision and say, you know what? I am tired of working on helicopters. And
Yeah.
that might be sometime soon. But yeah, let's actually talk about that, man. So where's your head around like fully replacing it, making that decision, and when do you think you're kind of ready for that?
Yeah. I think that I won't kind of give a date or anything because
Mhm.
I just want to kind of keep it open and private. But I think that, yeah, as soon as I'm able to really, I'm gonna get this finished. I'm in the middle of kind of finishing my helicopter gig, and yeah, once it's finished, and I make sure that I have a consistent income from my phone, then 100%
Yeah, making that
gonna
call
go
though.
all in for sure.
Yeah.
Eh,
It's
Yeah,
it's good to know that like you're at least on the path. Like you're pretty much like well over halfway there, man. And couldn't be more proud of that because again, like what ends up happening, dude, is you just regain so much energy. Your brain starts to actually like be like way more clear. You're not just kind of thinking one dimensional, I guess. You can start expanding into different ideas, different skill sets. And let's kind of go down that path because I always talk about on my channel, man, like utilizing setting and appointment setting for the sake of just opening more doors or having the option to open more doors, right? This is like
yeah,
one door you can go through. You can make 5, 6, 7K, however much it is. But what you can do past that is what like is the thing that nobody ever really likes to talk about. So tell me about like what you've noticed of being on this role about where you can end up taking things.
yeah. So like the first thing that's really like a really big benefit is just seeing how this business runs, right? So getting on with a few different people, you see how different people run their businesses, what they do on the day to day, and you get a good idea that, you know, like no offense to these business owners, but they're not anyone special, right? They're not these crazy people I thought they were. They're just normal people that want to make money and they put in the time and effort. That's it. That's the only differentiator between me and the business owner, right? Or me before and the business owner now. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's the mindset behind it is another thing is like that's changed quite a bit for me as well. Just having the feeling of like, well, money doesn't have to come from your 9 to 5 job. It can come from other places. And like I'm making more, almost double what I make like on my 9 to 5 versus what I'm making on my phone. So it's crazy to right like to wrap my mind around that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Like everybody looking from the outside in probably has the belief of what you were kind of talking about there, where they're just not too sure if they, for example, are worthy of collecting the amount of money that like we're going to be talking about here, or just even being capable of making videos, talking online, whatever that might be, developing a skill set, getting on a team of that stature. Like it's actually really not that difficult in a sense. Like it's pretty straightforward.
No.
The work is straightforward as well. Um, and it really comes down to belief, to mindset. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the first commission that you've made with the offer that you're on right now, kind of like just changed everything for you. It was like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
this is actually doable.
Yeah, it's something like that I've heard before in like a podcast or something where people look at it kind of like, oh, like he's got lucky or it was an overnight success or whatever. Like no one sees the months that I got paid maybe $100 or $200 for a month of work,
Yeah.
hours every day. right? No one sees that. And then all of a sudden I get on the right offer, I get in the right position with the right people, thanks to you, Sergio. And then and bang, in my first 7 days, I don't know, I was 2 grand in my first 7 days. And it was just like, okay, so this is it was shocking. And then in 14 days, it was just like, okay, this is something special. This is gonna be the new normal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just crazy. Like I get my second paycheck tomorrow, and it's just like I don't even know what to do with the money. I just put it in my bank, because
Yeah. As you
I
should.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's crazy because I've never been in an excess of money, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I've never had more money than I need, if that makes sense. So now I have more money than I can even spend on bills and all that. Like took my girlfriend out to a nice steak dinner. Like, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
life changes so quickly.
Yeah, yeah, heck yeah, man. And it changes quickly when you again make that like split decision where you really just actually draw the line in the sand and you just do stuff you're uncomfortable with, you commit longer than everybody else is willing to commit. It's really about going above and beyond and truly sticking to the word of wanting a certain type of lifestyle. And you've done that, dude. You've definitely like just blown myself away, and I honestly couldn't be more proud. So let's talk about the numbers, man. Like you mentioned, first week it was about 2 grand. Going over the entirety of the month, I think we actually set a goal of like you trying to hit 6K, and like what did that end up
Well,
looking like?
yeah. Yeah, so it was originally 5K Canadian because I'm
Mm,
in Canada, and I get paid in USD, which is huge. So it's actually like a 25%, like I'm pretty sure it's around 25%, like pay increase when
yeah.
I transfer it from US to Canadian. But yeah, anyways, our goal was kind of, I remember you saying 5K at the beginning of the month, and I'm like, okay, yeah, 5K, let's do it. And then I forget what I was at. It was 3,100 in 15 days. So then I kind of went, my goal is 5K. Let's push for six because like this would just be crazy first month. And then counted all the numbers up on the first after the 31st was done because we had a crazy deal going as well. And I ended up hitting $30 shy of 6K. So it was 59.71 or something like that with the conversion. So
Man,
yeah, just you
that's
couldn't
too
make that
funny.
up. So
You can't. And you know what? I'm clickbaiting everybody. I don't care. It's $30. Bro, I'll send you the $30
yeah,
myself just to make it
yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. Say
Um,
say Brandon made 6K first month.
And then people can laugh about it once they're at this point of the video. But yeah,
hmm
dude, all this to say you're making this money, like let's just remind people because I don't know. I think yeah, a lot of people can't fathom making that amount of money while doing the work that you're doing. Which let's go ahead and kind of dive into that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but literally the only thing you're doing is you're just managing a business owner's DMs. So you're really just
Yeah,
booking people onto a calendar and that's it. Right?
yeah. So basically, just quick rundown on it. It's the business owner is running ads. He's getting leads that are interested and they're following us. So we're reaching out to followers. And then he's also running DM ads as well. So they're just DMing us and they're say, DM us start for more information. So they DM start. And we basically, I know Sergio, you through our training, we've went through like a whole process. With the business owner I'm working for right now, it's really simple. It's maybe five, six, 7 questions. And
Mhm.
then we're pitching them. We're just saying, hey, you know what? I'm a bit tied up right now. I think it would be better if we just hopped on a call. And yeah, a lot of these people are like, sure, I'm interested. You gave me some information, but I can tell that you're busy, so let's get on a call.
Yeah.
And that's it. You book them on a call, and then once they get on the call with the business owner or the closers, talk to them. Uh, if they end up being a fit for the program, then the closers or the business owner will pitch them
Mhm.
the program, and bang, they'll buy, and that's commission just like that.
Yeah, so the part where they end up essentially hopping on the call, you're pretty much completely disconnected from. If anything, like you never really have a touch point with these people other than inside of the DMs, correct?
Yeah, that's other than inside the DMs. Yeah, you're right. Like, there's no voice notes really because we're technically trying to be the business owner. We're helping them out. We're not really, being our acting like ourselves. So yeah, there's no voice notes, there's no video calls or anything like that. The only thing that we do, which is different from business owners, is that like the appointment setters actually reach out to the calls before
Mm.
they happen. It's just call reminders like, hey man, just want to make sure you're good to go for tomorrow's call. And then yeah. So I mean, other than that, once they're on the call, then they're in the community and that's up to the business owner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, man. And yeah, pretty much like that is a pretty brief breakdown. I mean, it's not even brief to be honest, like that's actually all there is to it.
yeah.
So I'm glad we can kind of clear the air there for anybody watching. But dude, I mean, like, what would you say? Like where I obviously don't exactly expect you to have this all mapped out and planned out. I think to be honest, it's probably in your best interest that you don't have this mapped out. But my question is like where is it that you kind of want to go from here? Right? Obviously, I'd imagine like, it'll be a goal to just be full-time on this, but is there anything else that has kind of caught your interest that has seemed available to you because of this opportunity and like learning this skill and stuff?
Yeah, so we were running two accounts and I was managing both, which was a little hectic, especially working a full-time job on the side. So we actually, like I said, we had Ray come on and take over the other one,
Hmm.
which is really good. So I've kind of like taken like a step back from that. And I've just been on the one account, which has been good. But if I was ready, I would have dived in fully to both those accounts full time. And Callum, my business owner, he also said like we can start getting more accounts. When you're ready to go full time, we're going to get more accounts. So he's gonna like start pumping out like two, three more accounts. And I'm just like, okay, so this is like long term, right?
Yeah.
And then I mean super long term, after a couple of years of appointment setting, I would like to teach people how to maybe appointment set as well, because I think it changed my life, right? Like you changed my life. So I would love to pass that on to other people. So,
Yeah.
and another thing is knowing how to do that, seeing you go through it, seeing all these business owners go through it, Jeremy, it's just like, it's so possible, you know?
Yeah, yeah. It's awesome at that point, man, because like, you can go down that route. You can end up becoming a high ticket closer if you wanted to.
Hmm.
Obviously, the offer that you're working on right now has people like learning how to become client success managers. There's another route you can go down. There's like infinite amount of direction
Yes.
that like you can literally go down, which is freaking awesome. And that's why like again, like learning this skill, the way I see it is just timeless because I mean you need to know how to speak to your audience on a personal level. And then on top of that, you just kind of get to see like a bit of a 360 view over everything like operations on how they deal with the clients, how they run ads, how they close calls, right? And so there's just a bunch of skill stacking opportunity from here. So yeah, man, honestly, dude, sky's the limit for you. I'm just stoked for where you're at. And yeah, man, I couldn't be more happy. So yeah, I mean, I guess last and final kind of note from your end, like, is there anything that you would just want somebody watching from the outside in, looking to become a part of like this industry or just learning the skill set? What would you say to them?
Yeah. So for me, it was like I wanted to find something online where I could put the work in and then have the result come and be certain on it. Because a lot of it is just you're uncertain, right? You put all this time into a drop shipping store and you're uncertain if it's going to succeed, if it even gets a sale or not. So I would say that appointment setting is something where if you do put hard work in, it's a matter of when, not if, you'll get the rewards. So for someone watching, yeah, if you want to put hard work in to succeed, appointment setting is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Good way to finish this off. And yeah, if you guys are watching this video and you kind of want to be exactly like Brit and you want to leave your 9 to 5 eventually, right? Because we haven't done that quite yet, but just on pace, double your income, learn an actual skill that can get you the remote freedom of just being able to be at home, work, go for a walk, work, be wherever it is that you want to be in and actually make commission, just literally utilizing a phone, then you guys know where to find the link. You can contact me. But yeah, Braden, honestly, dude, super, super again, happy to have you on here. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know I just took an hour away from your appointment setting
No
motivation
worries.
opportunity. So yeah, man, cool. We'll go ahead and end it here. And yeah, see you guys.